How's it going, everybody? We are back with another How to Beat. Today we are talking about Soriz, Seox or Six, and we're talking about Zeta. So, first we're talking about Soriz. I want to focus on one move, which is his punch, right? His punch, very powerful. His main way of getting in. And there are very easy answers to at least two of them, right? But we'll talk about the light one real quick first. The light one is very fast. It's -3. So it isn't the end of the world. Obviously, if you get hit, he is, of course, plus. But he's only +1, and he pushes you back pretty far. So, you know, as long as you walk back, you're pretty much going to be okay in most scenarios. Even if you're in the corner, it's still pretty far, besides his heavy attack. So the light one's -3. You get your turn back. And if he does hit you, it's only +1, so you just walk back on him. The big ones I want to talk about, though, is his medium one and his ult one. So his medium one is a little more dangerous. It knocks down, and it's also plus on block. It is +1. So it's like the light one, but on hit. But he is way closer. He is incredibly close to you when he does it. So how do I beat this move, right? Can you interrupt it? And the answer is yes. And he actually has a lot of tell when he does it. So like he winds back quite a bit. It's very easy to hit him out of it, to be honest. Because his startup is like really long. Like, you see the startup on it? It's 26, right? It's very... It is incredibly slow. So you have a lot of time, actually, especially if you do the light attack. I'm doing it pretty late to try to show a good example, but yeah, you have a lot of time to hit it with a lot of different normals if you see him just do it randomly. I'm trying to like do it really late so I can get a good combo off of it. But yeah, you have a lot of time to react to it. It's 26 frames, which is quite a bit. So if you see him wind back like that, like startup animation is pretty like obvious to tell. You can easily hit him out of it. So try not to hold this move too many times because he is +1. He's really close to you, so he could take a lot of advantage if you just let him do it. And the other one is the ult version. So the ult version, this one you could hit out of it. But he has armor on it, see? As you see on the startup. My leg is clearly hitting him, but he has armor on it. So how do I deal with this move, right? You could block it, which isn't the worst case in the world. He has -4, and he's pretty close, so it's essentially your turn. You can do 6XL, you can do a lot of stuff to get your turn back. If he hits you, though, he gets a full bombo, so you don't want to get hit. Especially in neutral, it's pretty dangerous because he has armor, and he has armor on... against even fireballs, so you have to be careful when he has meter. He can't throw that out pretty, freely. But there's ways to punish it. The first thing to do is, obviously, if you react to it, you can, if you have a reversal available, to just reversal him. You can do super as well. Supers do break armor. But let's say you don't want to use a reversal, right? Is there another way to punish it? Or let's say your character lacks any sort of, like, good reversal option. Yeah, you could spot dodge it and punish it. Let's say you spot dodge really late. Actually, let me show you a better example. You are still +4. So +4 is not fast enough for a jab. Jabs are 5 frames. But you are +4 in his face. So you could still even punish him with a throw. If you are a little bit late on the roll or on the spot dodge, you can still punish him with a throw. So either you can punish him with your light attack, or if you're a little bit late, you feel like you're not going to be able to get that light attack punish, you could still punish him with a throw. And even if you're like really, really late, like I don't even know if it's possible to even be. Yeah, you could. You could be even later than that. You're still +2. So you're still plus. He doesn't get his turn back, even if you spot dodge it, right? So best case scenario, you get a jab. A better, less, I don't even know what the word for it is. A not as good scenario, but still good for you, is you get a throw, or, even worst case scenario, you're still +2, you're still plus. So, in any scenario, if you react to this, you're still very plus, and you can still punish him and either punish him or be plus frames. So, yeah. Very easy ways to do it. The other one is this one, which is not a big deal. It's -3. It's really fast, so, like, you're not reacting to it. So... the big ones are obviously the medium version and the ultimate version. There are ways to punish it, so be be ready to punish both of them accordingly. All right, next up, let's talk about Zeta. So the big moves I want to talk about is her spear. So the first one I want to talk about is actually her ultimate down one, because her ultimate down one is a very, very, very good throw bait move. So like if she were running up to me, actually let me do it. A better example. This scenario happens a lot, and she gets a full combo if she has extra meter. So yeah, you don't want to get hit by that. So big thing is obviously be careful when you try to tech a throw against her, because she does have that move available. But the other big thing is it is -7 on block, so there are spaces where it is less punishable. Like if she hits your leg, she is still -7. The frame data doesn't change, but she is really far. Like there is basically no way to punish her. Like even with supers like Vegeta that are quite fast and go very far, there's no real way to punish her from that far. But the likely scenarios is obviously if she's trying to do it off of a throw bait scenario, she's gonna be right next to you. So how do I punish this move, right? Obviously, it depends on the startup of your attack. So Jita's stand medium is 8 frames, but her crouch medium is 7. So this is going to be a little bit character dependent, but most characters have a faster, like a 7 frame medium attack most of the time. I don't know for sure if every character does, but even Jita's is a little bit, hers a little bit slower, so it depends on the character. But let's say you don't have anything, even though it's not a straight up punish because it is an 8 frame startup, you can get 6-6L, which is pretty decent because some characters don't get a punish because their medium attacks are a little bit slower. But the other best scenario is getting a 6-6L, and then also obviously you can play this mind game where you can run up and throw them, because like, oh, you're gonna 6-6L me, you run up throw. Or you do backdash and then like try to make them whip the throw. So even at the times where you can't punish her, because it could be character dependent on whether you can punish her with a 7 frame normal or not. Because most of the time the jabs aren't going to reach. Even like Jita's jab, which is really far, it doesn't exactly reach. Maybe some characters, maybe like Lucifer, but the big thing is like, if you don't have this, the mind game between 6-6L or throw or like run up backdash or like run up stop is still pretty good. I wish I had a better answer for punishing it, but it's 7 frames and she goes back far enough where only medium attacks hit, which kind of sucks, and 6-6Ls are only 8 frames. So yeah, it's gonna be character dependent on whether you can punish her or not. But if you do, I would check to see if your character has a 7 frame medium attack. If you do have one, and she's close enough, you can punish her. But yeah, it is a little bit of a privileged scenario. The other move I want to talk about is actually her regular spear, her standard spear. So this also is very spacing dependent. It actually doesn't matter what follow-up she does. So obviously she can do 3 things, right? She can just do it by herself and nothing. She can go forward twice, or she can go forward and back, right? So those are her 3 options. All 3 options actually don't matter. It really depends on how far she is, whether you get a punish or not. So let's say she does the regular, just one and done, right? She is -4 and she's very far. So even if I had a 4 frame normal, which doesn't exist in the game, she is still incredibly far. Like, so it doesn't really matter that she's -4. But if she's really close, right? She's -9, which is heavy punishable, right? It's stand heavy punishable from, I think, most characters, besides like maybe Vansaraga and Ladiva maybe. But yeah, so obviously very punishable. So it depends on the spacing, really. Like over here it's -8, so I'm not close enough for a heavy, right? But I can't punish her with a medium, right? So it depends on how far she is. The other big thing is, like I mentioned, she could do this twice, right? Which leaves her really close, which is very unlikely unless they commit to it for whatever reason. This is like probably the most unlikely scenario, because she's very negative. Even on spacing, she's still -10, which is basically punishable from the entire cast. The big thing though, this is the one that's a little bit more common, is the backup, right? The when she walks back. So this is quite safe, right? Even though she is -30, If she spaces it, I really cannot punish her in any way. Even with like Jita, who has like pretty good chase down normals, like or chase down special moves, like that's like I just barely got that to hit. But yet again, it is space dependent. If she does it right next to you, if you're ready, you actually can't punish her. It's a little hard to get much off of this, depending on how close you are. But you can't punish it. So, if she's really close, regardless of what she does, she is punishable, right? To some degree. If she's really far, it doesn't really matter what follow-up she does, besides the double forward one, which is, like, very, very unlikely, unless the player is, like, really new to the character. They're probably not going to do that on block. It's pretty easy for her to see, oh, they got hit, let me do the follow-up. Or, oh, they blocked, let me back up, right? So, but the big thing is a lot of like newer players would think like, oh, this is safe because she backs up, right? It's actually not safe. You can punish it if she's really close to you. So if she does like a blah, blah, blah string into, or she does like something like this, right? This is punishable. So don't let them do that, right? That's basically it for Zeta. Just wanted to talk about those two moves, which are punishable to a degree. So you have to be ready spacing wise, whether you can, or what option you have available to how far she is. And then the final character, Styx. This character is quite cheap, easily top 2 in the game. There isn't much to be able to punish him for, but I do want to talk about 2 moves. The big one is one of his more defensive options, which is his wall dive. That is invincible, which is quite obnoxious. So if you get a hit, he gets a full combo, which is very annoying. He's fully invincible throughout the entire time. Besides startup, so his startup is not invincible, right? If I can hit him, yeah. So you heard the little like that kind of that animation sound effect. So he's not invincible on startup, but basically as soon as he like climbs back or like jumps backwards, he's invincible the entire time. You can hit him with nothing. There is nothing you get him with. It is very obnoxious. Unless your move has like incredibly long startup for whatever reason, or like invincible frames, it's like basically impossible to hit him. So how do I punish him, right? Because he has his long animation, which is 30 frames, it is actually possible to punish him just by spot dodging, right? Spot dodging is actually the very easy answer, and he's actually quite negative on spot dodge. He is negative 12. So as long as you don't get hit like pressing a button, right? On startup, which it does happen quite a bit, which is quite annoying. But if he just does it raw, he is negative up to negative 12. I think that's his max, well, negative 14. But that's like, I'm doing it preemptively at that point. But if I do it on reaction, he is like very easily negative, like up to negative like 8 to 10. So if you want to be safe, you can just do medium attack. But yeah, very easy answers to deal with this, right? You could also do DP or whatever your reversal attack is, but it's very easy to just spot dodge it on reaction to get a better punish. So honestly, I would just recommend, unless you're like in the middle of an attack for whatever reason, like. But even if you're in the middle of an attack, you still have time to spot dodge, but obviously you don't get like a full punish, so most of the time, like 99% of the time, I would recommend just spot dodging. But if you're in the middle of an attack for whatever reason, like a light attack, and he does it, then I would resort to doing reversal because he is negative 3, so if you want to get some damage, that's good. But if you want to just block, it's also okay. So, but yeah, 99% of the time, just spot dodge, you'll be okay. The other one I want to talk about is his rec attack, because he has a couple things you can do. So his main things you can do is obviously the Ender follow, which is negative 8, which is very unlikely to happen. The other thing you do is obviously this hop, which is +2, or he could retreat, right? He could do both attacks and retreat. He could do one attack and then do up kick. So how do I deal with this? The big thing is, I'll talk about the retreat first because it is kind of a call-out situation, similar to Zeta, or actually not similar to Zeta. Similar to Zeta that he could retreat, but not similar that you could punish it spacing-wise. Like, this is like strictly a call-out, whether you can punish it or not. You can't really react to this and punish it. He's like quite fast. So this is like absolutely a call out whether you can punish it or not, right? So it's also very hard to get a combo off of it. It's tricky, but you can't punish it if he does the backup. Obviously, if you want, you can just take your plus frames and just like get pressure from it anyway. The bigger thing is this one. This one is the the real killer, right? So obviously he's plus here. So what do I do, right? This is obviously interruptible. Even on hit, it's interruptible. So the big thing is you want to jab it and then just get a heavy attack, honestly. You can do heavy too, but like you can mash heavy if you want. But you know, you do risk the chance, especially if he does the heavy one does have a tendency if you're a little bit too late to hit you, especially if you're doing a heavy attack. So you're better off just like doing some situation where you jab and then do heavy attack as a juggle. And then you really can't like determine whether like there's no real OS to like jab and then do 6XL. Like when he does it, like it's already too late. So in my opinion, I feel like most people say who play the game quite regularly, you're better off just like having your jab ready to just punish this part and not get hit with the plus frames, because it is kind of like a gimmick, than to rather rely on trying to punish the back step. If obviously they do the back step over and over and over again, you can punish it with the 6XL, but for the most time, you want to be preemptively pressing your jab. If they do the back step, it's not the end of the world. Like obviously you're just back in neutral. There's like no harm done to you at all. Like you just press jab, you just block, or press jab and then just chase him down. So for the Rekka situation, you're better off preemptively pressing jab just in case they do the overhead. And obviously these are like they're negative a lot. like this one's -4, but you're obviously it's your turn back. He's right next to you and he's -4. This is a free. Actually, it's a free throw punish. Like this is a punish from throw. So he's punishable from both hits of the Rekka. So the only things you can really do is backstep or do the overhead, right? So pretty easy. Don't let 6 just get away with doing overheads or backsteps over and over again. You have 2 punishes. Obviously, one's a little bit safer than the other. But if you want to punish the backstep, you could do it with 6XL if you're fast enough. But your reward is like pretty low. So obviously, honestly, if you do catch the backstep, I would just do 6XL and do 6XL again, to be honest, just to get some sort of pressure started. Unless you're like really close somehow and you get like a jab punish. But yeah. So that's it. Those are the 3 characters. We will obviously continue with the series with more characters, but I wanted to talk about some of the more top tier, more obnoxious characters to fight. Maybe in the future I'll do longer guides how to fight them, but probably by then there'll be a patch and then there'll be some updates for the characters, and then we'll see how strong they are in the future. But for now, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.